So welcome to this amazing tutorial on basic bodies, and for basic bodies they're manipulated to or corset. So stay tuned and follow up. Make sure you watch this video to the end and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. This is my ruler, my French curve, my tape, let me hand it here, pencil, eraser, and paper. So welcome to today's tutorial. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is that this is the measurement I'm using. The shoulder is 14, shoulder to breast point is 10, shoulder to under bust 13, nipple to nipple is 7, bust is 34, waist is 28, and hip is 40. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is your bust. We won't be making use of the hip. We're just using the bust and the waist. Since it's going to be a half bodice, it's not going to be a full bodice. So let's get started. So the bust and the waist, which one is larger? We have 34 here, we have 28. So that means the bust is bigger than the waist. That's 34. So the first thing you do is divide your 34 into 2. Now bust is what? 34 divided by 2. We are having 17. 34 divided by 2. We have 17. This is what we're going to use as a guide on our paper. I'm going to use our half length. Our half length also. So half length. Oh, I didn't write the half length. So the half length is, I'm making use of 16. Half length 16. So the reason for this is that, okay, let me get started first. Our half length is what? 16. So on this our paper, you mark out your 16 for the half length. So now this is our half length. Our half length is 16. So let me see if paper will be enough. So we're having 16. This is our 16 here. Okay. So you mark it out, this 16 and 16. So before that, before marking it out, okay, this is 16. So let me rule a straight line. This is our 16. So our bust into 2 is what? 17. So let's mark 17 on this paper. This is 17. Okay. This is 17. So I'll rule a straight line. So right now we have a box. I have a box. Let me recap. From here to here, your half length. Here to here, half length. Our half length we're using this for this tutorial is 16. Here to here is 16. Now this is half of our bust measurement. So let me show you again. Our half length is what? 16. This is 16. Our bust into 2 is 17. This is 17. So the next thing you're going to do now is to divide your bust. That's 17 that you have here now. You divide it into 2. What did I say? Divide your bust that we have here, 17, into another 2. You know, I've done it before. We have 34 into 2. We're having 17. Divide it again into 2. That we're having 8.5. So 17 into 2 is what? I already said it's 8.5, but let me just do it so everybody can understand perfectly well. So we're having 8.5. You can mark it again so that the length can be equal. You don't want to make any mistake here. There's 8.5 and 8.5. So you rule a straight line. You know, from a box we now have 2 boxes. Understand? First we draw our half length, the bust. So we now have 2 boxes, equal box. Now after having your equal bust, the first thing you're going to do now is to put some of your measurements on this paper. So now we have our shoulder to breast point is what? 10. Shoulder to under bust is what? 13. So that was the first thing you first of all mark out on this paper. So shoulder to what? Shoulder to breast point is 10. Shoulder to under bust is what? 13. And our half length is what? 16. It's already marked out. So now you do it. You draw a straight line. Our shoulder to under bust, our shoulder to breast point is 10 for this tutorial, while shoulder to under bust is 13. So rule a straight line. So make sure you read the straight line. Start rolling the straight line so you won't get confused. Next thing you do is to write it. This is our shoulder to what? Breast points. Breast points. That way you will not be confused. This is our shoulder to breast points. The next one is shoulder to what? Under bust. And this is our shoulder to what? This is our half length. This is half length. So hope you all understand, because I don't want anybody to be confused. From here to here, shoulder to breast point. Here to here, shoulder to under bust. Here to here is our half length. So your back and your front are not usually the same. So we're going to be minusing 1 from this. Look, let's minus 1.5. Minus 1.5 from this. The back and the front are not usually equal, the same. So we're minusing 1.5 from the half length for the back. So now, for the back, this is the new half length for the back. You understand? So this will be for the back and this will be for the front. The first thing we measure is our half length. This is 16. Our shoulder to breast point is 10. Shoulder to under bust is 13. Thank you. So let's get started. Shoulder to breast point is 10. Shoulder to under bust is 13. Our half length is 16. So let's start with the front. This is the front. So let's start with the front. So the first thing we're going to do now is to mark out our neck. So we're going to be doing 3 by 3. That means you mark 3 here. You come to this middle line. You mark the 3. So after marking that, you can always create a box so that it can be easier for you. Create a box. Start creating a box. You can use your hand or honey, how you want to do it. You can use a French cuff. So these are 3 by 3. So you know from our measurements, we have our shoulder to be 14. Shoulder is 14. Shoulder divided by 2 is going to give us 7. So we have already marked out 3 here. So 7 minus 3 is going to give us minus 3. We're having 4. So we have 4. The next thing you do now on this line from this point here, neck point, you mark your 4. So this is our 4 here. So you come down from that 4, you mark 1 inch. What did I say? Come down from the point here, you mark 1 inch. So from this 1 inch that you marked here, you now connect it to this neck point here. So you draw a straight line. Let me start afresh. So here to here is 3 inches by 3 inches. You curve it out. That's our neckline. So the next thing you do now is from this place, we have 7 as our shoulder is what? 14. 14 divided by 2 is going to give us 7. 7 minus 3, we're left with 4. So you mark your 4 here. After marking out your 4, you come down by 1 inch. You mark 1 inch here. Marking 1 inch, you connect it to this neck point. So after connecting it to this place, the next thing you do is to get our armhole circumference. You need to get our what? Our armhole circumference. And it's very, very easy to get our armhole circumference. This is the formula we usually use. Some people use it also, but I use this formula. It's going to be armhole is equals to bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. What did I say? Let me come again. Armhole circumference is equals to bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. For me and our bust is what? It's 34 divided by 6 plus 1.5. I use your calculator. I use your phone. Anything you want to use to get it. So what do we have? We have 34 divided by 6. First, we have what? 5.67 plus 1.5. So our answer, we are having approximately 7.2. As a formula to get your armhole circumference. So you divide your bust into 6 and add 1.5. From here, after dividing 34 into 6 plus 1.5, we're having 7.2 inches. So from this point, I'll mark out my 7.2 inch. After marking it out, we can always rule a line. This will be our breast, always armhole circumference. So after marking it out from here, you now draw a straight line. Draw a straight line. So the next thing you do that this your armhole circumference, this your armhole here, divide it into 2. Then we have 7.2. 7.2 divided by 2 is going to give us 3.6. So you mark it here. Let me come afresh. Let me start afresh. So from here now, our armhole is 7.2. Divide this 7.2 into 2. We're going to have 3.6. So having 3.6, you now come in I did not go like this. So I say come inside. You come in by ½ inch. So coming in by ½ inch, you will now connect this point here to your ½ inch that you come in by. So this line, you connect it. Can you see? You come in by what? ½ inch. Connect that new point to the tip of your shoulder. Come in by ½ inch. Connect that point to the tip of your shoulder. The next thing you do now is to connect this point. So now, you remember what's our bust divided by 4 is what? Your bust divided by 4 is what? 8.5. So this place you already did is 8.5. What you want to do next is what? Use your French curve to connect that point to this place as your 8.5. Place it very well and connect it. See, that's all. Connect it. The next thing you will do now is your nipple to nipple point. What's our nipple to nipple point? From here we're having 7. Divide it into 2. 7 divided by 2 is going to give us 3.5 inches. So our nipple to nipple is what? 7. Divide it into 2. We are going to have 3.5. So you mark it on your half length, on your under bust, and your breast point. Nipple to nipple point is 7. 7 divided by 2, 3.5. Mark it on your half length, under bust, and breast point. So we're having 3.5 here. We have 3.5. You mark it on your breast point, under bust, and half length. You have 3.5. So you connect it. You rule a straight line. So after ruling a straight line, for this now, your for your dart, you can always use, let's use 1.5. So for that, use 1.5, we'll divide it into 2. I'll put half here. You can put 1 here. That's where I do my own. I don't know how you do yours, but I put half on this side and 1 inch on this side as my dart. Connect this point to your breast point. Connect it to your breast point. Connect it. Let me recap. For my dart, half on this side, 1 inch on the other side. You connect this point to your breast point. This point to your breast point. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get for our waist. What is our waist? Our waist is from here. The waist is waist 28. 28 divided by 4 is what? 7. So you will just mark it like this, 7. You don't do it like that. The way you're going to mark it now is that you come from here like this now. You mark this. What is here? This is almost 3. You come here. You now mark. This is almost 3. Okay, let me do it like this so you can understand. You mark it like this. This is almost 3. Almost 3. You come here and you mark your 7. So it's even 7 on the dot. This 7. You just connect this line to this point. Let me start fresh. Let me recap. So from here now, I want to mark my dart. Our nipple to nipple is what? 3.5. You mark it here. 3.5 nipple to nipple. Nipple to nipple. 3.5. 3.5. You draw a straight line. So for my dart, I mark ½ inch here for my dart, and I mark 1 for my dart. That's where I do it. I divide it. I use my dart is 1.5. So I divide it into half here and 1 here. So half here, 1 here. I connect this point to my breast point. Connect this point to my breast point. Start doing that to get my waist is 28. Waist 28. So from waist 28, 28 into 4 is what? Is 7. It's 14. 14 to 2, that is 7. So to get my 7, I won't just say, okay, this is 7. No, because this dart is there. Or most times you can just do, okay, my waist is what? The waist is 7, right? You can always add 1.5. 7 plus 1.5 is what? Is 8.5. You can do it that way also. 7 plus the dart is 8.5. You just come here, mark your 8.5. The 7 plus your 1.5 dart, that is 8.5. Because if you just mark it like this 7, you are shortening the length of the clothes, because if you move your 1.5, you are going to be left with 5.5 and you have spoiled the clothes. But no, you have to add your dart to your measurement. Your dart is what? 1.5 plus your waist is what? Is 7. 7 plus 1.5 is going to give us 8.5. That's the way you do it. So we are done with the front. To get the back is similar to the front. It's just the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is, from this our back now, we are going to mark the same way we did the front. You mark your 3. You come down by 1. You draw your box. So drawing your box, you can always curve it out. So after doing that, you mark your, from here we are going to have 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. So you do our 4. You come down by what? 1 inch. You draw a straight line. You connect it from this point. Draw a straight line. So you can always use this one also. From our our armhole is 7.2. You mark your 7.2. The second thing about this thing is that the more you practice, the more you get better. The more you get better. You can't do it in a day. You have to practice. You need consistency. So from here now, you divide our armhole into 2. We're having 7.2 divided by 2. We're having 3.6. 3.6. You come in by ½ inch. So for coming in by ½ inch, from this point, you will just connect it with a ruler. Connect it. After connecting it, you connect this your curve. So for you to not make mistake, most times I always rule a straight line from here. You see, it's the same thing with the front. You just rule a straight line, then you just connect it. Make sure you connect it with your French curve. Connect it with your French curve. See the way I place my French curve? That's how you connect it. After connecting it, for the back, I usually use 1 inch as for my dart. So what you do now is what? But before we do that, you know, the back is not meant to be straight, so you have to remove ½ inch from the back so that it will not be straight. It can be well aligned. So from this half length here, you just mark out ½ inch here. The back is not meant to be straight, and you blend it in with this line. You blend it in. The back is not supposed to be straight. Like some people that will sew clothes, you see at the back of the clothes, the zip will be bulging. So to prevent bulginess, you mark ½ inch from here. The clothes is not meant to be bulging, so you move ½ inch from here. So it will not make it to be bulging. The clothes will be very relaxed, to be flat. You will not see the zip bulging. So to prevent zip from bulging, you remove ½ inch from the waistline. From this half length here, you move ½ inch. After doing that, you now mark your 3.5. That's our nipple to nipple measurement. You mark it on your half length, on your under bust, on your breast point. After marking it, you draw a straight line. It's the same thing what we did there. So since I'm using for the back, I'm using just 1 inch as my dart. So I'll divide it into 2. That is half here and half there. Half here, half here. So from here now, I will draw a straight line to this point and to this point. So the next thing I will do now is to measure my 7 inches. My waist is what? Is 7. So now this will not be enough. I'll have to add to it. So I'm having 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. I mean, it's enough. 7 plus 1. The waist is 28. 28 divided by 4 is going to give us what? Waist divided by 4 is going to give us 7. 7 plus the 1 inch dart that I put here, that is 8. So let's measure it. So from here to here is 8. It's correct. So my waist is correct. So let's check our bust also. Our bust is supposed to be 8.5. It's supposed to be 8.5. So let me mark it here, 8.5. So I'll connect it to this place. So this is my bust. So we are done with the front and the back. See, this method is very, very easy. You just have to practice. The more you practice, the more you get better at it, and the more it becomes more familiar to you. So if you remember from the beginning, I removed 1.5 from here, from the half length for the back. So now this 1.5 that I removed now, I will come and place it here. I'll place it here. From the breast point, you come down by 1.5. So from the start, I remove 1.5 for the back. So this 1.5 that I removed there, I'll place it from that breast point. You come down by what? 1.5. So I will now connect it to the breast point. I remove 1.5 from the back. So this to make it to be the same length. So that the front don't be longer than the back. So this 1.5 that I removed from here, I've added it here. Don't worry, you understand better. When you sew it, when you finish sewing it, so that it will be the same length. Despite removing 1.5 from the back, it will be the exact same length. So now let's continue. So this is it, 1.5 here. I've replaced the 1.5 that I removed from here to this place. This is our underbust dart. So now I talk about manipulating the bodice to corset. So this is very, very easy. The first thing you're going to do is your shoulder. This is the shoulder. I'm having 4 here, right? Write it into 2. That is 2. So from this shoulder, I've divided the shoulder into 2. You connect this point, the midpoint that you divide into 2, to your breast point. Divide your shoulder into 2. Connect it to your breast point. So now I've connected it to my breast point. So before we start, I want to know how deep I want it to be. So for me, from here, let me just do it. You can always measure it on the person's body. Let me do 3.5. From this, let's do it 6. Okay, let me do this one 8 points, 8.5, 8.5, and this place let's do it 6. So okay, measure it from here. We have 8.5, 8.5, here is 6. So you know what, you understand what I'm doing. So now next thing I'm going to do now is I want to use your French curve to draw it out. So this is so after doing that, next one I will still redo it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to remove 1/2 inch on both sides. From here, remove 1/2 inch here, remove 1/2 inch here. So you connect it to your breast point. Connect it to your breast point. Next thing now, from this center front, let me clean this so it will not confuse you. This is our center front. Okay. So now from this center front, you mark 1/2 inch on your breast point, 1/2 inch on your under bust. You can always rule a straight line. So the first thing, let me recap. From your shoulder, divide your shoulder into 2. That is divided into 2. This is 4. 4 into 2, we have 2. This point, connect it to your breast point, rule a straight line. After doing that, on both sides, you mark 1/2 inch. Mark 1/2 inch on both sides. After marking 1/2 inch on both sides, from your center front, this is our center front, you will now mark this half and half. I've marked half on both sides. This is not straight. Let me redraw it. Now it will be straight. You mark 1/2 and half on both sides. So after marking half, drawing a straight line now, it's very, very easy. The next thing you will do now, get your French curve. After getting your French curve, you connect from this breast point here, you connect it to this point. That's how you get your corset. It's very, very easy. From here now, I'll just connect it. I'll just blend it in. So you see, that's my corset. Connect this place with your French curve. So now to connect the other part of it, you have to cut it out. You have to cut it out. You can't just connect. You can't just do like this and do it. No. You have to open this dart out. You have to close this one. Don't worry, just keep following me. So now I'll cut it like this. So now this, you see the way this dart is now, is 1.5. So I'll do it like this. You see the way I'm doing it. from that. So that's like this. You do it like this. You close it. This line have to match. You have to match with this other line. You see, this is that. Understand? You do it like this. Make it sharp. It has to match with this line that is here. You can always use paper tape, gum on anything you want to. You close it. Use a paper, and use your gum or paper tape, anything you have, you can use to do it. So I will close it. You see this line, I have to match with this other line. You see how curved it is. Okay. So the next thing you do now is you have to tighten it. You have to tighten the under bust. So to tighten it now, you mark half here. You can mark almost one. Cut almost one here, and you mark half here. You want to tighten the under bust so it will be very tight and firm. So now you see the way I place my French curve. Place it this way. Note the way I place it is very, very important. So after placing it this way, for this other side too, you tighten it. It's not must to be on this line. You can always come from the breast point a bit. You tighten it also. This one you can record. You don't want this place to be sharp, so you can always use your hand. You can use your hand. It must not be sharp. You can just curve it. It must not be sharp. You see? So now the next thing you do now is you come here, you mark ½ inch on this side, and then you draw your corset. You see, very, very easy peasy. So you just use your French curve. You see, I have our corset already. So now this place, I don't like this way this thing is looking, so you can always do it whatsoever you like. You can always do it this way. Don't like it, let me take it up a bit. So I don't want it to be too down. So the next thing you will do, see, you have your corset already. Corset is ready. So for here, don't just do your armhole. You can always come here by ½ inch. You have your new armhole. Always use your French curve for the new armhole. Let me clean it and use my French curve so that it looks very nice. So you see, that's it. So you see how beautiful it is. You can always make sure you label it so you will not make mistake. So from the labeling, we have our A, we have B, this is our C, and this is our D. So let's cut it out. Cut it out. All this our darts. See the way I'm cutting it. So let me cut out the A part. See, corset is very, very easy. There's no big deal about it. It's not like anybody's come and tell you that, oh, corset is hard. No. It's not hard. You just need to know how to go about it. Oh, I didn't remember to do this. So from this new distance point, you draw a straight line. That's it. So this is the last one. So let me remove this so you can understand better. So this is our corset. You see, corset is ready. So please, if you want to sew it, so for me now, you can always this now. I get my paper tape. So this one, you don't want to do it pieces, so you can, I don't know what you want to do, but this just the paper tape. So this is our corset, this is our A and B. You see, corset is ready. That's all. See, from your basic bodice, you already have a corset. Very, very, very easy and peasy. So just do it that way. So for the back, I'm going to, depending on how you want your back to be, you can just do it this way. The back, and people can just do it like this. I don't know. Okay, yes. The back. And maybe you want to, can always mark 1 inch here. Maybe you want your back to be open. Mark 1 inch. You just come in. After doing that, from here, maybe you want your back. You want to put your eyelets. You can always remove like. Okay, we don't. Let's even do it like this. Let's do it. You want to do it V. You want the back to be V. So you just do it like this. So you see, it's ready. So from here, you can always just, if you want, that's up. If you don't want that, you can just remove your that. Just cut it out. You see, this is our. Before I forget, this is our illusion. You want to use net. You want to use anything you want to use. This for the back. This is the front. Maybe that's all. Let me cut this out so that you can understand. This from our front. I've not finished cutting it out. So let me cut it out. So, and then what you want. So there's the position for the front, the back. So let's cut it out. So note, if you want to sew your clothes, your corset especially, you add ½ inches round on it. Don't just sew it like that. You add ½ inches to it round, so that way you can use it. It can be easy for you. Don't worry, I will send a picture to. I'll place it so you can see the way it's supposed to be on the clothes. You add ½ inches round to it. It. So we don't want that, we want to close it up. So just cut it out. Use a paper tape. Use paper tape to close this one. So this is it for this class, for this tutorial. So please make sure you sew your corset and send it to me. Let me see it. So this is it. See how beautiful it is. Like, just see it now. I've not even yet sewn it and it's looking so fine. So I think we have come to the end of this class.